Hi, and thanks for joining me on the Ghanaian Farmer YouTube channel. My name is Enyo Nam, and seated next to me is Mr. Felix Appiah. He is the CEO of Tri-Solace Farms, and they are mainly into rearing of snail, consulting, marketing, export, and everything about snail. They are the experts. So if you want to go into snail farming, the right place I recommend is Tri-Solace. Now, a lot of you have reached out to me expressing interest in snail farming, but you kept asking me of cost breakdown, and why should I raise snail in greenhouse? Why not an open field? We dive into all of these, and also let's get to understand the state of snail farming now. Do we even produce enough, or we are still lacking behind? What do we do to increase the production, or how do I even benefit after investing a huge sum of money into snail farming? Felix, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
So how much do I need to have such a setup?
Okay, so the setup cost 34,000 cedis as at 2022.
Okay.
September.
2022 September.
September. And why that is that the price of metal, we use quality metal.
Okay.
We are one of the only companies in Ghana that manufactures our own greenhouse from scratch.
Right.
All other people import from other neighboring countries and other developed countries. Okay. So what that does is that it's able to help us minimize costs.
Okay.
So as compared to other markets, ours is even about 1/3 the cost of less than everybody else.
Felix, give me what goes into taking away my 34,000 Ghana cedi.
Okay. So one, let's look at the main component, the metals.
Right.
So from the metals down to the drilling, to the cutting, electricity, everything, we are looking at about close to 20,000, because people can go on the market and check the thickness of metal that we use, so that whatever weight, whatever wind, whatever pressure comes on it, it will not break. And ours is galvanized metal. They do not rust, because we've seen that we build for clients closer to the sea, especially in Accra, where there's a lot of corrosion. But they were having issues earlier with the metals that they were using. So we buy top-notch quality metal. So that alone is about 20,000 cedis, including the electricity, the welding, the grinding machines, everything. So when clients come to, on the invoice, there's a further breakdowns for them to see what we are using their money for. And then we give you a water storage tank, a big one, on a stand, a metal stand. Irrigation, the pipes goes into the greenhouse, connected. When you turn it on outside, sprinklers come on, and then everything in there gets wet. You don't do manual watering. All this process plus that also takes a further about 4,000 there about, because poly tanks or other tanks are around 2,000 cedis per about 2,000 liters. So that's also another cost. And then we come to the major one, the snails. So we give you large enough snails or point of lays that are going to lay for you.
What's the average snail you give me? The size?
So we give you about 180 grams.
180 grams.
Which is a matured snail that is about to lay.
Okay.
So we don't give you the ones that have finished laying or haven't started laying. Okay. Other than that, it will delay your timing. So we give you exactly the ones that are about to lay. So when the season comes,
and which what variety is that?
We do AA.
AA.
And Wapa, which is very expensive on the market. Okay. Most of the clients know that, because anyone who wants to come into snail has done their research, they know. And it's sold anywhere between 8 to 12 cedis.
Per one?
Per the size.
Okay.
But because we are producing, so we capitalize it at 6 cedis. So that alone is also another 6,000 cedis.
How many pieces?
1,000 pieces.
Okay.
That the client will count with us before we put in the greenhouse.
Okay.
And then we will also plant all the vegetation in there. So with this alone,
what plants are in there?
Okay, so we have spinach, we have sweet potato, we have cocoyam leaves, we have also known as taro, and we have banana, dwarf banana, exotic type that will not go up the ceiling and tear the greenhouse. So that is also, we also till the soil. And then bring everything and install in your house. You don't pay anything extra. Not transportation, no. You don't pay anything for water, for food. After we charge you that amount, that is it. Okay. We are done with it.
Do you add feed to the snail?
Yes, we add an initial feed of about 2 months worth of feed for the client. And what that does is that it lets the client know that the feed is good and that the snails are picking up in terms of weight and they are eating it. So he knows that it's good and then they can come and buy more.
Okay. What's the essence of the plant you are putting in the greenhouse for the animals?
Okay, so ours is mimicking the natural environment as much as possible. Okay. We don't want to do any other forms. So for the gallery, what we saw was that one, because of the cement, it has something called gypsum in there. Okay. That if you don't coat the surface of your structure with either plastic or some people even use carpet and the snails still eat the carpet. They still eat the blocks because of that gypsum. So it smells or acts like calcium, and they eat that and they die.
Okay, so it's not good for me to cement the ground.
For the ground, no. And for the walls, no matter what, you have to still, because the gallery doesn't have any other material you can use to line it. And every day they know that the snails start eating the walls. And sometimes they even eat it and break it. It's just like salt corroding away a wall. The same thing, they eat it.
Which is not good.
Which is not good. So with the greenhouse one, it mimics the natural environment as much as possible. It's organic 100%. It prevents flies and other insects from going in. And it is also going to serve as one. The plants we plant in there serve as shade, serve as food, serve as mulching material as well. And now we even introduced dried cocoa leaves. So we saw that the clients were using a lot of water, which was very expensive, especially in Accra and other parts where even humans don't get water. So it was a deterrent. But we have actually introduced the mulching material. So you now, for one tank, you can now use it for almost 2 months.
Okay. All right, Felix, if you give me the snail, let's say you did my setup for me this month.
Yes.
Of October. Yeah. How many months will it take for them to start laying? Okay.
So even though they are in a controlled environment, snails still rely on the weather. They are very sensitive, temperature-wise, humidity. They are like a walking barometer. They can measure everything accurately. So when there's so in the olden days, this is what our forefathers used to do. When they see snails curled up in their shells and have woven that white thing, then they know there's a dry season coming. Okay. Because snails are going to hide and be away from the dry season so that they don't die. So the same thing, now they are able to get the weather. They observe it so well that now when they see that, they sense that there's not going to be enough rainfall, they go into that estivation. It's called estivation, where they weave that. So what this particular does is that they don't lay even with the water in there. Okay. So what it does is that it helps them eat more, grow more, so that by the time the season comes, they are ready. So there are 2 seasons. We have some April, March, and then we have some getting to September, October, November.
Okay.
But now you have seen that people are saying global warming, others people are saying other things. The temperature and the weather and the climate has changed drastically. So now, at first we were able to calculate exactly when the rains will come, but now we can't. Sometimes in January and it's raining. Yeah. Sometimes in December where it's not supposed to rain, it's raining. So some of these have changed. So we tell clients that so far as it's raining, the snails will start laying eggs because they are temperature sensitive and they are very good at measuring all these environmental changes.
So are you saying if I should start mine now, my structure and everything is ready, and you move my snail in now, this October?
Yes. By November, December, they will start laying. Yes.
How many eggs does the AA lays?
Okay. So AA in the wild lays differently. So this is the confusion people have been getting. Okay. When you ask about egg laying, then they say, oh, snails can lay 200 eggs. But I tell people, do this experiment. You yourself as a human being, our stomach, let's say, can contain about just 2 liters. Let's just say that. And then someone tells you that your whole body has about 10 liters of water in your stomach. Then that means it's not right. If you look at the shell of the snail, even without the meat or its whole body, you can't fit 200 eggs in there. Okay. Even though it produces it gradually, it cannot give out what it cannot take. Okay. So what we tell clients is that for business-wise, not all the 1,000 snails are going to lay eggs. So we are going to do maths here.
So let's do the math.
So the maths is, we are, let's say 2 people here. We are different, even though we are giving the same food, we cannot do the same work. So I'll have to maybe help you with your work. So some will lay up to about 40. Others will lay 60, 70. But when you spread it to get the mean, right? Like we used to do in maths, 3, and then you add it and you divide it by 3 to get you the average. So the average eggs that they lay is 50.
Okay.
Because here, even though it's a controlled environment, they eat greens, they don't get the specific nutrients that they need.
Okay.
Like
So
in
it
the wild.
limits the
Exactly.
quantity of eggs
They lay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So how long will it take these eggs to hatch, and how long will it take it to mature before I'll start selling my first sale?
Okay. So for snails, the eggs are laid today, and in about from 15 to 21 days, they start hatching.
Okay.
So they don't all hatch at a go, because some have better environmental conditions than others. So by worst case, if your snail is up to 21, your egg is up to 21 days and it doesn't hatch, then it's gone bad.
Okay.
So from today, you measure and then you count up to 21 days. All the ones that haven't hatched, you just put them aside and then focus on the ones that have hatched. So it's 21 days, 15 to 21 days.
Okay, then it will start hatching.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then how long will it take it to mature fully for me to start selling?
Okay, so once the snail is a day old today, it takes up to about 12 to 14 months for it to be what we consider table size now, or point of lace. So we buy them back at 14 months.
Okay.
Which is called point of lace.
Okay.
So that we install it in other people's greenhouses as well.
Okay.
But if you want them to be table size, like the Ghanaian table size that you see on the market, you're looking at 2 years.
2 years?
Yes.
24 months?
Yes.
Ah.
People have actually been deceiving other people that in 6 months your snail will be ready.
Yes.
But I can tell you emphatically, we have been doing the research here for almost 4 years. No snail, the snails that we had from 4 years are now old enough, big enough, up to the size that people pretend to tell them that they will be up to that size. So 2 years, then you can sell on the market as food.
At what cost?
At about 8 cedis per one.
So if I invest my 34,000,
yes,
and even after 2 months, I'll be buying extra feed, because you won't give me free feed anymore.
But you use about 2,000 cedis worth of feed for the whole year.
For the whole year?
Yes.
That's 2,000.
2,000
So in roughly, I'm spending about 34,000.
Let's say 35.
35,000. Yes. And I'll have to wait for 2 years if I want.
So there are 2 options we give.
Okay.
So we can give the client to sell the point of lace back to us, not the 1,000. So the 1,000 will lay about 50 each. And then if you multiply the 50 by the 1,000 that is already in there, you're going to get 15,000 young ones.
Okay.
And
from
those ones, those ones are what we will buy. So we will buy and keep them for about a month more and then distribute it to other people as point of lace for them to start with as well. Because they are sexually matured and they will lay eggs. And then the 1,000 you have in there will still continue to be in there to lay for the next season. So that's the difference. But if you want to sell on the market for food, these are not for food.
For the restaurant and the chore bars and
then you have to wait for 2 years before you can sell.
I can start selling.
Exactly.
Okay, correct. In this 35,000 you mentioned, projection, how much am I expected to make if I want to sell to you at a point of
lace?
Yes.
Okay. So for 14 months, you are looking at about 45,000 cedis.
As profit?
As the whole revenue you are going to get for the first year.
Okay.
This is the awesome thing with the greenhouse. So with the greenhouse, it's a breathing environment. You don't need to go raking, you don't need to go clean their pool, etc. Everything is on its own growing. It's changing, it's shifting the soil by itself. So in the first year, let's say you spend 34,000 to build it, or 35,000 including feed and everything, you get 45,000. You take away your 35,000, you have 15,000 cedis as pure profit for the first year.
Okay.
The second year, you don't buy greenhouse again. No. You don't buy snails again. You only maybe spend money on the labor, someone taking care of you. of it for you. If it is you yourself, then you take that as remuneration. So the next year, your profit rises drastically up to about 80 to 90% profit from your 45,000 CDs that you are getting. So this is the breakdown. The 15,000 snails that you are getting, you will get even more.
Okay.
But for business and for Ghanaians, I always am very careful because we design for the worst case. Let's say the person is not there, the person didn't feed them, but they were able to get enough snails to sell. We buy one at anywhere from 3 cedis to 5 cedis.
Okay.
But let's say we were poor at it, so we got smaller ones, and then we are buying it at 3 cedis. So 3 cedis times 15,000 is 45,000 cedis.
That's how much I'm going to make in my second year.
In the first year,
okay.
second year, and the third year.
Okay. Now, what is the current state of snail farming in Ghana? Are we able to produce to meet demand? Is the demand rising or it is limiting? Are there any challenges at all in this sector?
There are, like every other thing, even eating. There are hazards like you can choke or something else can happen. So even with snails, we currently had a breakthrough where we partnered with UCC, University of Cape Coast, where we are working on a project with them together. So now, together with the labs at University of Ghana, they are able to now to diagnose diseases. So that is how far we as an entity have gone in terms of snail production and snail research. So as it stands now, the demand for snail is even over than we were anticipating. So the time I went for training from CSIR, which is 2015, they were saying that Ghana imports, that is CSIR, the government entity which is in charge of Agric itself. And then they said that Ghana imports 15,000 tons of snails every year. Importation.
From other countries?
From other countries.
Wow.
And inwardly, from scavengers, not farmers, people who would pick from the forest and all that, we were getting an internal production of about 3 tons. So that's 18,000 tons. 3,000 tons, so that's 18,000 tons. And imagine just the 3,000 was gotten in Ghana. That was way back when we didn't have sun winning, we didn't have galamsey, we didn't have pesticide runoff. Now, on the Kumasi Accra stretch where you used to see a lot of snails when there is season,
on the roadside.
Now they have just a small quantity and they will charge you so exorbitantly you wouldn't even be able to buy. So the demand has risen and the population has also increased. So with all these factors, global warming, meaning it is now more difficult for snails to survive in the wild than it is in the house. So it means that the demand has soared. And anything that has a scarcity, automatically, according to economics, will have a higher price rise. Okay. So now, even 2015, we're looking at about 18,000 tons, which is close to about 8 million snails there about because of their weight. If you are looking at it like that, that's about 8 million snails, pieces of large snails. And we don't have that. Now, wherever you go on the market, you don't even see snails displayed anywhere. Now, it has also become so much a delicacy that hotels are now selling it for 200 cedis for 3 pieces.
Yeah.
And then the market is just still there. Currently, as it stands now, we have been able to do our first 3 shipment to London. Okay. Where we've posted videos on that as well. That was the first time we were able to do live snail shipment.
Frozen or live?
No, live.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we had to get a lot of documentation done, but we just wanted to see if it's feasible.
So right now you have
export.
You are able to export live snail to London.
Yes, where we send it to UK. And now when it reaches there, people are battling for it.
They are fighting over it.
That is it.
It's not enough.
That is it.
Okay, Felix. Now let's wrap up our interview. What are some of the services? I know you do more of service provide. What are some of the packages you have available in TriSolace? Because when we put this interview up, people ask and they call for a lot of, and you are very busy. What are some of the packages? And before a client call you, what should they, have ready before they call you? Okay.
So for a client to call us, all they need is passion.
Okay.
So they need to be passionate and they should have money.
Okay.
So with the materials we use, automatically it's going to cost money. So we charge for the first package, it is 34,000 cedis.
Okay.
It comes with partial feed or some feed to last you for about 2 months. Comes with the greenhouse. We will till the soil and put all the plants in there. We will also give you 1,000 snails. We'll give you 1,000-liter poly tank on a stand with connected irrigation so that when you turn it on, it sprinkles. That's one part of the package. And the second package is a 15-meter long greenhouse. We can take 2,000 snails to start with. It comes with a 2,000-liter poly tank with all the irrigation and the plants you see in there. That is 52,000 cedis.
Okay, so it comes in sizes and the cost as well.
Exactly.
Okay, now do I pay outrightly before you start work?
No. So what we do is that we let the client pay up to about 1,000 cedis. Then we go to the site to look at it and then do the mapping and the planning before we come inward. So after they have paid that, then they pay 70% of the total amount.
Okay.
Then we bring everything from our site and install on his site, plant all the vegetation. Whilst we are waiting for the vegetation to grow, which usually takes about 2 months. So whilst we are waiting for it to grow, they can pay the next 30 when we bring in the snails and we all count and we see that yes, it is 1,000 or 2,000 you brought, and then they pay the remaining of the 30%.
There are a lot of my viewers who are living abroad. If there's somebody in USA, UK, Italy, wherever, and they want to have this style or this structure or system of snail farming, can you install plants, introduce the snail, and still help me with labor? Because that is one of their headache. Can you promise that you can help us recruit and we'll have somebody who will be there to take care of my investment for me because I am not here?
Yes.
Do you do that as well?
Yes. So earlier we weren't, because it's like you are building, you are doing everything, you are buying. So you are like judge, jury, executioner at the same time. But now we saw that it is still a service we needed to provide.
Okay.
So we are still providing labor for clients.
Okay.
So now we have specially trained females that if you have a place, they will come and stay, take care of your greenhouse for you. They have all the knowledge, the requisite knowledge and everything, so they can take care of you, the greenhouse for you.
Okay.
So that we have that done
All right.
now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, finally, Mr. Appiah, you are showing me that snail farming is profitable.
Yes.
The market demand is there.
Yes.
Okay, is that not it?
Yes.
As a testament to what you are declaring, how much turnover do you make annually?
Okay. So last year we did audited accounts, $700,000 for last year alone, 2021. Yes. And this is audited accounts.
$700,000.
Audited accounts.
It's how much you made last year.
Last year.
2021.
Yes, 2021. This year we've even surpassed that.
Wow.
We've surpassed that because last year we built 80 greenhouses. This year we've built 100 greenhouses.
100 for clients.
Already, yes. And then we have them scattered all over Ghana, for the exception of the first upper and the north that we haven't gone. Starting from Kintampo downwards, we've done work everywhere. Okay. So 700,000 USD, which is in audited accounts, not just figures we are putting out. We've paid taxes on that.
Are you equally open for investment? If I have my 1 billion somewhere and it's in my account, not doing anything, is TriSolace open for such investment as well?
Yes. So we saw that there was a huge gap in the system where people who were especially outside Ghana wanted their monies to work for them, not only for the money but also for impact, where they wanted to see Ghanaian get employed. So yes, we are taking investment, but the thing is we do not have SEC certification to take. So when you are bringing it to us, we sit down with you and our lawyers as you just taking part of our shares. So we give you non-voting shares, but we do not have SEC approval to take like a bank take but we have systems in place where you can come with your lawyers and then we sit down and then we'll do that. So yes, we are open to investment because you can buy shares in our company and own shares and can even vote on depending on how much shares you buy. We've had contacts in China, Japan, USA reach out to us that they want snail slime for pharmaceuticals.
Okay, the slime.
Yes, the slime. They are saying it has very good pH So it is used as a base for most pharmaceuticals in terms of body creams, insulin based drugs that they do. They want something that has a certain pH. The slime from snail has a good pH, so it can be used. It's better than even water.
Wow.
The pH is better than water, so they use that for insulin based, like diabetics and other insulin based and pharmaceuticals, anti-aging creams. They use it for powder for sores that help your body heal faster.
Wow.
So all these, they have done the research and they are looking for that. And in Ghana, we want to do that. But as it stands now, we don't have the raw material enough to do that. So we are encouraging clients. That's why we started this agro scheme. Because people were building snail in buckets. They were doing snail in buckets.
Right.
How can you get enough to extract slime? That's why we started commercial quantity snails, where people can now grow in larger quantities and we buy back from them. So the future is going to be in the next 3 years, we're going to have enough snail houses around Ghana that we're going to have milking centers.
Okay.
Like cow, where you can bring your snail, we extract the slime, pay you, you send them back. The good thing is when you extract the slime, they do not die.
Really?
Snails
you
do not
can still take
die.
the slime and they'll still be alive.
It is the crude method where people bash the shell and take out the slime that they claim is slime. Even before it comes out, it's contaminated. But we are going to buy the machine.
Okay.
It is going to be an end-to-end. You put the snail in, and in the end, it is bottled and capped nicely for you to sell. So that is the future, where the client will earn first revenue from the slime, second revenue from the snail meat, third revenue from the shells of the snail. Because
the shell equally have a benefit.
they use it in poultry feed as calcium.
Oh my.
It's so expensive. It's more expensive than the shells they find on the seashells, because that contains sodium or salt.
Yeah.
But snail is so pure, it doesn't have any impurities. So that is what they use in poultry feed.
So that's where we are heading with snail farming. If you're watching, Felix Appiah is the go-to man, or TriSolus is the go-to brand. If you want your money to work for you, whether you're in Ghana or you are in abroad, I can confidently recommend that you work with TriSolus. If you want me to be part of it, just let me know. I know his house.
Yes.
So don't worry. Come and let's do business together. But today I'm sure you have a bit of clarity and closure when it comes to investing in snail and how much you expected to make year 1, year 2, year 3, and many other benefits that are attached apart from the meats that you'll be selling. My name once again is Enyonam, and here is Mr. Felix Appiah. Any number to contact? Okay, so they can reach us on 0249 234 809, or for those outside Ghana, it is plus 233 249 234 809. All right.
Yes.
Thank you for watching.